This internet is a 2016 Mazda CX-5 Grand Touring all-wheel drive in what Mazda calls Soul Red Metallic. Mazda loaned us this vehicle for a week so we could get a true feel for what it's like to drive the CX-5 every day. To, do everyday things. So let's pick up on day one. I was working from home that day, primarily to take delivery of the vehicle, and had to drive across town to pick up a set of wheels. Okay, so I manually entered in 4003 Westfax Drive. That's the direction to GTP. So we're going to go there and pick up some Volk wheels for the BMW I don't have yet. And the first thing I wanted to do is see how much zoom was in this CX-5. God, there's a lot of traffic. Why'd I come out here on a Friday?
In 500 feet, turn back.
Turn back? I don't want to go back that way. Well, just scored a set of Volk wheels for my BMW. And we're going to head back home. Okay, so I found a feature that my BMW doesn't have. It's the distance control on cruise. So there's a little gauge that shows how far behind you want to follow a vehicle ahead, and if you're too close, it's going to, oops, I just honked the horn. And if you're too close, it'll automatically apply the brakes or engine throttle, I'm not sure which, but it slows the vehicle down. So that's these buttons here on the steering wheel. And that'll change the distance or how close I can be to the vehicle ahead. So since there's some distance now, it's sped back up to the speed that I had my cruise control. Oh, more brakes. Let's try it again. Here we go. I feel like I want to hit the brakes. Oh! And again, I haven't hit the brakes. I haven't hit the brakes. Okay, now I will. All right. Cool. Well, it works. Alright, so that was a quick drive. We did about actually 27 miles on it out there and back to pick up these wheels. And first drive impressions, a couple things I like or want to note. It's quiet. There is plenty of power for getting around town. You never really feel like you really have to go full throttle to move the thing. I like the steering, the weight of the steering. I like the steering wheel. I really dig the seats. They're very comfortable for me. They've got plenty of side bolstering here and on the thigh. There was enough room in the back hatch back cargo space area to fit 4 wheels with tires. And if you're wondering what size those were, they're 235/40 18s. So you can hear them wiggling around a little bit right now. But plenty of room back there for those. I probably could have fit 4 245s. Possibly 255/40s. So we're back now. Let's check out the rear view. I feel like I'm at an angle. Okay, we're good. First impressions of the CX-5 were great. Getting more seat time would have to wait until later. For now, I need to unload the wheels and unfortunately get back to work. I also need to decide how I was going to unveil the test vehicle to Sean, who was most definitely expecting the new Miata. On to day 2. Okay, Sean's here. He has no idea what's in the garage, so we're going to go out and get his reaction. This way. Hold on, let me see if this is in focus here. What do you think it is?
I got no idea.
Yeah, you do.
Is it a Honda City Turbo 2?
I don't think they make those anymore.
No, they don't. Is it a Lamborghini Huracan?
No. Alright, we know it's Japanese.
It's Japanese. Is it the new NSX?
Yeah, right.
Expectations?
Not that big time.
Okay, let's find out. It is a Mazda CX-5. All right.
That is not what you were expecting.
That is not what I was expecting.
You can be real here.
I was expecting a Mazda Miata.
I wish. I wish.
But never mind the cardboard hanging down that was supposed to
well, I know. Painter's tape works.
Yeah.
Kind of. Let's throw that shit down here.
Well, it's pretty nice looking. It looks better than a RAV4. It looks better than a CRV for sure. The interior is actually very nice. Seats are really nice. Where is the key? All right.
Yep.
Yep.
Thumping that.
Yep, so this thing's actually got a pretty nice Bose stereo. For once, we have a car with a Bose stereo that has highs and lows. Is this adaptive cruise? Or is this lane?
It is actually adaptive cruise.
That is
radar.
That is really cool. You have some of these luxuries that 5 years ago would not been available. In the center console, it's pretty deep. There's a kind of separating thing at the bottom. There's a accessory outlet.
One outlet and nothing else in there.
Yep. But then again, you have all your connections up here. The only thing that's not ideal about that is if, lots of people like to throw their sunglasses and stuff down there.
Yeah.
And kind of having that stuff in the middle means that there's going to be bulky wires coming out in the middle. And we got an electric parking brake, which I'm not a fan of, but it actually works pretty quick in this car, which is better than a lot of other cars I've had electric parking brakes in.
All right, let's figure out where we're going to take this thing.
All right.
Corner carving is where the Mazda CX-5 really shines. Inside, the seats are bolstered enough to support the type of spirited driving typically reserved for the 3 Series. Beyond the seats, the thin-rimmed steering wheel diameter is just about perfect and is wrapped in a soft leather that always feels right. The weight of the steering is on the heavy side, heavier than the electric steering in the latest 3 Series, but not as much as the previous generation. On-center feels is good, with ample communication through the range. The suspension is firm, and thanks to large diameter wheels, road irregularities and minor potholes are soaked up with ease. Even though the CX-5 has received its share of sky activeness, it's no Miata and does exhibit understeer and minor body roll in the corners. However, for a vehicle of this size, we found it to be very impressive and left us wanting to turn around and drive the twisty sections again. So we did. Throttle response is near instant and feels as though all 185 underrated pound-feet of torque are available at any RPM. And that's a benefit of Skyactiv, Mazda's lightweight philosophy. Reduce weight, maximize efficiency. The result is a crossover vehicle that handles more like a sports sedan and gets down the road quicker than 184 horsepower might suggest. The power always seems to be there. Being that our test vehicle was equipped with all-wheel drive, we opted for the first unpaved side road we came across. It was hilly with large cobblestones and a bit of mud. The CX-5's tires are more commuter spec than off-road, however it felt sure-footed at all times. At the end of this particular gravel road, we came across a creepy abandoned house and decided we were far enough off the beaten path and promptly changed course.
Either way, I mean, this is not a bad price, considering you're getting a fully loaded, good size crossover.
I know one thing is I like what Mazda has done with this. Could it be improved from an enthusiast standpoint? Sure, anything can be improved. But for out of the box,
not too shabby.
A whole lot that I'm going to complain about.
Let me ask you, do you think you would find steering more sensitive than this on a Range Rover Sport? Do you think? Because you haven't driven a new one, I imagine. I don't think you would.
Probably not, and that's 3 times the money. And this is 3 times the speed limit.
Edit that out.
We woke early on day 3 and packed the car full for a 4-hour trip to the beach. Fuel economy in the Grand Touring all-wheel drive is rated at 24 miles per gallon city and 30 on the highway, though we netted just a bit higher than 32 on our near 400-mile round trip from Northern Virginia to Ocean City, Maryland. The CX-5 is well suited for road trips. Utility, drivability, visibility, comfort, and road manners of the CX-5 are stellar. Touch materials and technology and design all hit high, well above other Japanese offerings. The use of well-placed contrasting silver on the doors, controls, and dash is minimal, but not to be understated. Mazda has eliminated all infotainment controls from the center dash and moved them to the center console. I found resting my right arm placed my hand directly upon the infotainment commander. The touchscreen only works while stopped, which means most of the interaction will be performed via this knob and surrounding shortcut buttons. An interesting move by Mazda was to add a separate volume control knob to the right of the commander, presumably so the passenger can adjust volume. If you're the lucky driver, just use volume buttons on the steering wheel. The remaining days of our loan were used to commute back and forth to the office. On the evening of day 6, I met up with Sean to give the Mazda a deserving bath before it was to be returned the next morning. I'd come to enjoy the Mazda much more than anticipated. If given the option of driving the CX-5 or my loaner car, a fully loaded 2015 BMW 328i, I would grab the keys to the Mazda every time. Never did I see that coming.